All right, what is up, everybody? Welcome into today's edition of In the Game. I am your host, Hustle, and as always, we're going to be diving into the crypto gaming landscape, Web3 gaming landscape today, as I'm super stoked to be joined by one of the top AAA intergalactic metaverse and gaming projects in the entire space. And I would say they have been building some very quality multiple game modes and projects during this bear market. I'm super stoked to be joined by the CEO of SIDUS HEROES, Dan, today. So we're going to go ahead and bring him on in just a second. Quick shout out, like the video if you enjoy the content here on Banter and on In the Game, and subscribe to the channel for shows here every single day on the channel for the latest alpha across crypto gaming, metaverse, NFTs, DeFi, fundamentals, and more. And shout out to our sponsor for this show, SIDUS HEROES, as mentioned, one of the leading AAA intergalactic experiences in all of Web3. Let's go ahead and bring on our guest for today. Dan, how are you?
Very good. Thanks so much for having me today. It's a pleasure.
Yeah. I'm very stoked to get into it. And, you guys have been building some really quality stuff in this bear market. And I think it's going to be awesome to kind of go over it, show some of that, to our viewers here that, have been hearing about, SIDUS for a while. And I think it's one of the more popular crypto gaming projects in the space, in my opinion. So I'm stoked to get into it. So I'll let you have the floor quickly. If you want to introduce yourself, your role with SIDUS, and then also describe SIDUS HEROES in your own words.
No worries. Well, thanks so much for having me today, guys. It is a pleasure and a privilege to be on this show. I really love what you do. It's definitely helping the crypto community to grow and get better and educate and learn more, basically. So who we are, it's a publishing company, a company that is making a huge number of different game modes that are combined between each other via the same lore book and are connected to each other via the same architecture at the back end and SIDUS chain, which is a layer 2 ZK that is integrated inside of our ecosystem. It allows people to bring assets from one game into the other with the entire progress attached to it. My name is Dan 𝗂𝗂𝗍𝗂, and I'm the CEO, one of the co-founders of SIDUS HEROES. And we've been in this market for the last 1.5 years, constantly building. The last year was a pure production phase for us when we just did a lot of developments and programming. And been very, very quiet, to be honest with you, because I don't really see the purpose of us promoting anything unless we have a real product. Now we're moving to the stage when it is a real time for us to start the promotion, because we have quite a few interesting game modes that people can play now. And we just get a really nice feedback from our community that it is the right timing, right? I mean, the market is picking up slowly, so why not? SIDUS HEROES is one of the ambitious projects to look at because, we are a large team of experts, and I'm not afraid of saying it. We are the experts in the game developments. We are not just a bunch of startups who are got together to make something innovative and unique. We're actually professional game developers. We've been developing games in the past for the last 20 years. And we have a very professional team who knows exactly what they do in terms of the gaming experience. So yeah, definitely an interesting project to look at. Absolutely.
Yeah, I would say, like I said, y'all's ecosystem is spanning wider, and I think it's a really good thing. You guys are touching different niches inside of the game models that you guys are trying to build. So in your own kind of words as well, describe the game flow and kind of how the game plays out on the different modes. So I know there's multiple different iterations of the game at this point, I believe. So kind of how does the game flow go?
Sure. If you look at our screens, when you press play now, for example, on the screen right now, it will take us to the screen section where you can choose the game mode that you want to play, right? So it is like a huge universe of different game modes that you can choose from. Think of the Star Wars or Marvel, right? So in the Star Wars, you have Mandalorian, you have Andor, you have Obi-Wan, whole bunch of different storylines, have different movies and different shows and stuff, but they're all part of the same universe, the same lore book that was designed by the Star Wars guys. The same concept applies to SIDUS HEROES. It's the concept that is I think it's been in the market for a very long time. It all starts from the lore book. The lore book has to have a proper storyline behind the universe, basically explaining to people what's going on and what do they actually do here and what makes it different from the other games. And SIDUS HEROES is pretty unique because We have our own lore book, a lore book that is designed by the professionals. We have a whole bunch of people working from a whole bunch of different industries. We have people from Disney, we have people from classical gaming developments, and all of these people are creating a universe around the storyline between different civilizations that are fighting for the supreme power in a way of obtaining some valuable resources, taking over the planets, fighting for unique artifacts, and traveling in the space to learn and search for the unique skills that are capable to use to upgrade their weapons and armors and many other things as well. One of the game modes, for example, that was recently a battle royale strategy that is pretty unique in a way because it's combining a strategy with a battle royale mode. It's a 6-minute session with 10 people on the single map fighting for the valuable resources and the survival stage when they're forced to fight against each other because of the sandstorm coming every single minute. And then obviously the battle royale happens in the beginning and the end of this battle phase. And if you win, you get some valuable resources and loot boxes that you can open up and get some valuable assets from it that you can use to upgrade your weapons and armors and many other things. For example, the other mode that we've launched recently, it started last year actually. We've launched a Butler. It's a battle royale. It's a battle 3 versus 3. It happens on the 𝗏𝗵 station, which is a central station of our universe. That's where all the players from different civilizations are gathering together and they're hanging out basically with each other. They cannot kill each other because at the 𝗏𝗵 station, they have a special sort of protective status that are not allowing people to kill each other, but they can actually go to the battle arena and fight against each other for some unique artifacts as well. We are about to launch one of our third-person browser shooters, a browser shooter that is going to be pretty unique because the browser shooter we're developing, it's 100% based browser based, so you don't need to download anything. It's a top quality, the quality of almost Unreal Engine 4. We are trying to get to Unreal Engine 5, but it's going to take time. It's not the quick process. But imagine you play a game from any device around the world, even if you live in Cambodia, Myanmar, Nigeria, and Kenya. Those countries are not able to afford PlayStation 5s and 4s. They're able to go to their Android devices and go to the browser and play a top shooter with a top quality. And they can get into these games within 7.5 seconds, have 120 FPS, and fight against other players in a single map in an IO mode, which is it's called surviving mode. When you fight against other players, and if you get killed, you cannot play unless you have another NFT character, which you get for free every 24 hours. I cannot release too many details, but it's a very intriguing game out, and many people are expecting it. So I definitely think it's going to be a pretty big game changer for the shooting industry, because finally we're going to have a shooter that is having a top quality, that is easy to access in one click, and has a pretty interesting game mechanics that is not just copy and pasting Fortnite or PUBG or Counter-Strike, but actually brings something innovative as well. Overall, if you look at the SIDUS HEROES story, we are planning to release by 2026. The plan is to release quite a few games. Actually, the worst case scenario is going to be around 20 plus games. The best case scenario is going to be around 40 plus games, right? But all of these games are connected to each other. This is really important because you think of the Activision Blizzard or Ubisoft or EA, those guys are releasing games that are not connected to each other. So if you play Hogwarts Legacy, if you play Assassin's Creed, if you play Bonds and Schools, there is no way you can possibly bring your character from one game into the other and continue on the progress. In addition to it, you can't even either sell any progress to anyone after you play and you reach level 35 in Hogwarts Legacy, or you reach level 80 in the World of Warcraft. You can't really do much about it unless you take a risk and you go to the gray market and you sell to the character to the other player, and you kind of take a risk because, I mean, you can easily get scammed, right? So many people are complaining because they lose the character's access and stuff like that because they just grant access to the wrong people who are not really paying the money for it. So the blockchain functionality definitely solves that problem. But what makes SIDUS HEROES different from platforms that you see these days, like Gala Games or Treasury Magic and Myriad, etc., all of these platforms that are trying to become Steam platforms for all the game experiences, we are the ecosystem of games that are a part of the same lore book. So any game you play within our ecosystem, it's a continuation of the storyline entirely into our universe. So when you play, for example, racing that is going to be released, or if you play a top-down shooter, if you play MMORPG world, if you play a third-person shooter, if you play tower defense, all of the planets that are presented as different games are all part of the same universe. So you can actually take your spaceship and you can travel from one planet into the other and just have fun with your friends, or you can just explore the universe. You can earn some unique artifacts and start using them inside of the game by using the modular economy that I will demonstrate to you in a second. Once we'll get back to the question of the sustainability of the tokenomics. But it is a very interesting journey for you to go through. Definitely something interesting to be a part of, because we have a very strong community, a community who loves what we do. They're very dedicated to the entire development, and we're pretty clear in terms of the execution plan now. So if you go into our website and you go to the roadmap stage, I'll just quickly demonstrate that to you. So what I mean by that is that when you press the tab with the roadmap, and we go into the roadmap section, we try to be a little bit more specific these days. Instead of telling people roadmap for the next 10 years or so, we prefer to give you quarterly roadmap. What does that mean is that we have a quarterly execution plan, and you know exactly what will happen in the next quarter of every year. For example, Q1, then you have Q2, then you have Q3, for a particular game mode, right? So that's the Needham station, right? For example, Battle Royale strategy, we have a different roadmap that tells you exactly what to expect with a lot of different developments that are coming up. Or 𝗬𝗲𝗄, for example, 𝗬𝗲𝗄 as a shooter, also Q1, Q2, Q3. And when you are becoming a part of the ecosystem, when you're becoming a part of this community, you kind of have a very strong idea as to what to expect, instead of wondering and circulating around and asking the same questions over and over again. Oh, what should I expect in the next 1 month or 2 months? Well, we try to be very transparent. We try to be very specific when it comes to the execution plan, and we care about our community, because community is everything we have, right? I mean, the gaming project is all about community. You don't create games for yourself, you create games for gamers. And games have to be fun, right? Otherwise, who's going to play it? Just, if you create it for yourself, you're going to play it yourself, right? Nobody's going to join it. But if you create it for a community, and community gives you the feedback, and you fix the problems and you listen to them carefully, that's a different storyline, because those people will become eventually those people who are spreading the word and convincing others to come and join and try the game experience. And I'm sure once we will release at least 3 game modes in a full-on manner, people will find everything they need in one place. Because eventually, what will SIDUS HEROES become is the place where you come, you join, and you wouldn't want to leave. Because you will find any game mode that you're searching for. If you're a fan of strategies, go and play Xenos. If you're playing a tower defense, if you love it, go and play tower defense. But the thing is, you can bring your entire character from one game into the other and never get tired, because your character will travel from one planet into the other and enjoy different gaming experiences. That truly creates that, I believe, interactivity for the gamers to really enjoy the fun in terms of the journey. And if one day they get tired, they can easily lose the character using the marketplace that they can easily go and open up in their lobby. I'll just quickly show that to you in a second. Hold on. So when you type in play.sidusheroes.com and you log in with your MetaMask wallet, then you go into the lobby. Sorry, it's just a little bit glitchy because of the streaming. You go into the lobby, and then you go into your marketplace. You open the marketplace, and here we go. We have pretty much like OpenSea inside of the SIDUS Heroes, where you can buy and sell anything you want, including your characters, including your weapons and armors and many different things. And people are buying and selling stuff nonstop, different tiers, different types of assets they can explore here, gadgets, resources, and there are, transactions happening every single minute. We have people buying and selling those resources because they need them to improve their weapons, or they need them to invest into the modular economy, etc., etc. I'll pass it on back to you if you have any questions.
Yeah, it's fantastic. I'll unpack a couple of things because I think the interoperability between the ecosystem is something that has to happen in these Web3 economies. Because if you look at, you made a couple examples. Think about FIFA Ultimate Team, Madden Ultimate Team. Think about how much money they make every single year off these player packs and these player cards that you can't transfer over to the next game. So I think that that's a really big point of interest for me inside of the ecosystem, to be able to actually carry your assets to the next, to the next game and to the next game mode. So I think that's big, especially when you're talking about the traditional model of these microtransactions. And then the browser-based shooter, I think, is going to be huge, because the browser-based shooter is going to bring more people, as you mentioned, with lower capable devices into that game and be able to play it and compete. And I've seen those pre-iterations that SIDUS put on their Twitter of the base model of it and just kind of running around in the engine. And it does look really, really good. So I love what I've seen from the early stages of the gameplay mode testing for the browser. So I do think that looks very, very sick. And what I'll say, because I've seen it in the chat box, so the chat's asking about this, and I was going to ask about it anyway. Can we talk about the differences between SIDUS token and SINET token? And then we'll kind of go into the sustainability and the tokenomics after that. But let's just break down real quick the difference between SIDUS and SINET.
So on the website, when you go to SIDUSHeroes.com, there is a page dedicated to the tokenomics. And the tokenomics is really defining the difference between SIDUS, vesting period of SIDUS, its use cases, which are clearly defined on the website as well. And you can explore it yourself, and you can check it out on the website. SIDUS basically is like an everyday currency for you. Think of the American dollar in a way that you can use for traveling. You can go to the United States and buy an ice cream, or buy a pack of chips, hot dog. The same works here. You go to the SIDUS universe, you join in, and you start using SIDUS for pretty much everything, right? So you start using it for the labor market, you start using it for the transactional fees, you start using it for upgrades, infrastructural constructions, marketplace operations, replication, wrapping NFTs, resources exchanges, and other in-game functions. For the CNET has a slightly different function. CNET has a use case of being a governance token. A governance token that is designed to be DAO voting in the future, that is designed to be a part of the political system. I'll quickly take you through to the document. Hold on a sec. It should be here. There we go. We have a file called In-Game Economy. And the In-Game Economy clearly describes the utility of CNET as a political governance token, because besides the DAO governance function, we will also have the real political system inside of our universe, right? So you can literally become the president of the planet. You can become the senator. There will be 28 senators' seats in the Senate. So you can be voted and selected by the players to become the senator or the president for the entire month. And for that, you would need to have the CNET token. Also for the spaceship functions, like building the spaceships, you would need, and buying the spaceships, etc., you would need CNET tokens as well. Real estate, the land plots and real estate will also require a CNET token as well. So CNET has a pretty comprehensive ecosystem of use cases, except the thing is that because we have such a big ecosystem of functions inside of our game, it takes time to develop everything stage by stage. So at this stage, SIDUS is being used more than CNET, but at certain point there will be flipping happening, and we believe that CNET will be in a high demand among the players, because those players will need to use it for the political system. And definitely political system is something exciting, because you as a gamer, I'm sure you love playing games, and especially when it comes to the guild. When you're running your own guild, it is a responsibility, right? So you have your own members gathering every single day for the special quests, and you're kind of running your own like a little army inside of the game. Like for example, EVE Online, it was a huge thing for it. World of Warcraft or Lineage, all of those games are requiring for people to be dedicated to their guilds and run the guilds to success. The same principle applies here. When you're being elected to be a president, you take your planet to senators who are playing the role of being the voice of the people, because if people don't like what the president does, they can place the veto using blockchain functions as well, and do a couple of other things as well. So it's a big responsibility, and everything will require a CNET for it. So there are quite a few things for people to consider when they choose the token they want to use. But overall, I mean, we are pretty comprehensive when it comes to the use cases of those tokens. Everything you can learn from the roadmap and the documentation that you can find on our website. It's very, very clearly defined. Also, both tokens are deflationary. The reason why is because the tokens are being used inside of our ecosystem. Only last year, we've burned around 420 million, around 7.12% of the current circulation. And we've burned around 4.6 million CNET tokens, which is 153% of the entire circulation, about 7.9% of the current circulation as well. So the circulation of these tokens is reducing substantially because of people's participation. And that takes us to the module section, right? If you want to talk about sustainability, I think that's the perfect timing.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think that a lot of people in games, in the first iterations of crypto games, let's just say, they got burned with the tokenomics and the very, very bad setup of that. So let's talk about, sustainability in the ecosystem. Yeah, go ahead.
I mean, the use cases are very important. We've learned a lot of mistakes from the other projects, and I'm really sad to say, but people had to learn some very heavy lessons and losing a lot of money because of these unsustainable approaches from the game producers, because they thought that by minting the token in huge quantities and rewarding it back to people and players will give them a huge promotion, which eventually happened with some projects. But what has happened next is that people found it useless to use the token inside of the in-game process. There are just not too many use cases at all. And as a result, as an outcome, people simply took these tokens out to the first market on the layer one, and started to sell it, right? And we've seen it quite a few times with other projects. I'm not going to name them, but I'm sure we all know the names of these projects as well, right? Speaking of SIDUS, SIDUS, I think, did extremely well in the beginning of 2022 and the end of 2021 when it comes to the speculative part. But I'm not a big fan of the speculation. I'm a big fan of the sustainability and consistency, because for me, as a CEO and the co-founder of SIDUS Heroes, it's more important to bring players who are actually using token for in-game processes rather than just the speculative part of it, right? So when you have too many speculators coming in and starting to buy and sell token without knowing exactly what they're being a part of, this is not a very healthy approach to the project. Whereas when you have a lot of players who are actually organically using token for a lot of different use cases inside, that's a different storyline, because they understand the value of these tokens and they understand the value of their moves and their time they're spending in this game as well. One of the most important differences that SIDUS Heroes is making in this market, it's the modular economy. It is a very innovative approach without overestimating or sugarcoating it. It is a real game changer. And I believe it is a game changer because it brings that sustainability to the game players, because they understand now it's a chance for them to become the part of the game instead of just a player. So let me take you through a couple of interesting parts of it. So imagine you play World of Warcraft. You spend a month of your time earning some gold, right? What happens next is there is a limitation of you using this gold. You can't become a co-founder of the marketplace in the World of Warcraft. You cannot become the co-founder of the store in the World of Warcraft. You cannot become a co-founder of the decisions the World of Warcraft is making, right? You're just a player who has to comply is the developers sell in the store, you cannot get any royalties out of it. They grab all the profits they can possibly take from the players, and they take it as their own profits. They're not sharing it with anyone. We're changing this approach. So we've created a modular economy using a very simple principle. When you play game, you earn the assets, you earn the resources, different types of resources. If I take you back to the inventory, let me show you SIDUS HEROES. You can get a whole bunch of different resources, and they look like this, right? Different composite materials, gems, some special polygons, a whole bunch of different stuff, marbles, steel, and just a lot of stuff. You can get some seeds that you can use to plant and grow some trees inside of the game. Seeds have different functions as well. And you can use these seeds to grow the plant and to plant the tree that will grow the fruit that will feed your little Tamagotchi. We call it Toadwing. And it's like a little pad that you can grow, and it will help you in a bottle and in your traveling capabilities and different stuff like that, right? When you earn that stuff, what happens next is you want to use it, right? You start to use it. You start to improve your weapons. You start to improve your armor. You start to build your real estate. But eventually, you would think, well, I would love to become something more than just a player. I want to become a co-founder of this game. And here is a chance for you. So we've created a modular economy that allows you to invest your resources, the ones that you get from the game, to become the co-founders of different in-game functions. And I actually mean it. So what I mean by that is when you go into the modular economy of SIDUS, you can choose which resources you want to contribute. And on the left-hand side here, you will see your percentage of the projected income from the commissions of using this module, right? So what does that mean? Is that anyone who, out of all players who will use this module, will pay the transaction fee. And this transaction fee will be redistributed to the co-owners of this module. And I will be getting 0.64% out of the entire transaction fee that will be happening by this module. Does it make sense to you, right? So if you go to this module and you spend $1,000, I'll be getting $6.4 out of your transaction, right? Oh, I think 64 cents, sorry, my bad, 64 cents, right? And you can increase it, you can increase it substantially. I'll just quickly show you how it actually works. So there is a whole bunch of different elements and resources you can contribute, not just resources, but also tokens like SIDUS and CNAT. You can just press a little plus here. You can choose an amount that you want to contribute. You press max. And when I press invest, I want you to pay attention on the left-hand side of the screen where my percentage of royalty is. So when I press invest, my percentage here will get changed to 0.65 now %. Right, so I actually own 0.65% of the entire transaction profit that this particular module is going to make. We currently have 750 contributors to this module. I'm number 24 out of all of them. You can see their contribution, how much they've contributed, their leaderboard, all of the players that are playing the game now and contributing to this particular module, right? And you can do it with anything. You can go to the module section and you can become a co-founder of bank, right? And you can control the withdrawals from the game. You can become a co-founder of the store. You can become the co-founder of reproduction facility. You can become co-founder of shipyard where all the spaceships are made. So if you want to make a spaceship, you got to be prepared to pay a fee for it, right? And this fee is going to go to who? To the contributors. The same principle applies here. We have 1,728 players who have already contributed to the production of this module. So I actually have 0.39%. If we take us to the leaderboard, I'm number 29 here, right? So I'm not in the top at all. As a co-founder and even the CEO, I'm not even doing any privileges to myself. I have the same rules as anyone else. I have to go in every single day and I have to invest my resources. The difference between us and many other games is that we have an anti-whale system. What does that mean? even if you have a lot of SIDUS and senior tokens, there is a limitation for you to invest every single day. See, I have a lot of CNET on my bank account right now, but I can only invest 556 CNETs right now, no more, right? So that creates the fair chance for everyone to log in every single day and try to improve their position in the leaderboard. And yeah, anyone who is going to come and build any spaceship inside of our module in here, they're going to pay the fee, right? That's how it works. One of the modules, for example, store, has already been built. So you can open it, you can take it through, you can open it, and then you can buy something from the store. We had some sales been happening already. Some sales been very successful, some sales been average, but overall, all of the sales sold out. And those people who became the co-founder of this module, they were getting a fee from every single sale that was happening from the developer's side. So you can see everything was sold out. Now, if I take us to the leaderboard of this particular module, sorry, the internet is taking a little bit of a time. And I do apologize for so much talking. It is a very comprehensive product, and I really want to describe the
it's all good. That's what it's for. It's for people to hear straight from the project on everything going on. So you describe it better than I could.
So I just want to show you a use case. For example, a person at the top here, he was one of the first contributors to the store, right? I'm number 399, so I'm not even at the top. But you can see some players have contributed a lot of resources in SIDUS tokens, and you can see how much he has actually earned. So his initial investment was a little bit, was maybe about 100,000 SIDUS tokens. You can see how much he has already earned from the transaction fees, 7,400,000 SIDUS tokens, right? That's almost 7,400% of his initial investment. That's a pretty sweet ROI if you think about the returns. And that just kind of gives you an indication what to expect in terms of the modular economy. I mean, it's a sweet solution for many, many games out there. If they really want to become decentralized and give the power to players, this is the way to do it, because players become dedicated and they think, well, if I'm a part of this ecosystem, not just as a player, but I'm a co-owner of this ecosystem, I really want to bring my like friends and relatives in, because I really want to share that storyline with them, so they can become the co-owners as well. And that's how the whole process works, right? Word of mouth, we call it, right? Happy to answer it.
Yeah,
just
for
a little
sure.
part of it kind of describes.
I love this is decentralization. This is how, governance and stuff like that should work within these ecosystems. So I absolutely love that. And I want to take a couple of chat questions before we close it out as well. So I believe this is on the website, but only 20% of SIDUS in circulation. What's the release schedule?
So yeah, it's sold on the website. So for the entire SIDUS release, it will take the entire circulation, which is 15 billion tokens, and it will take years and years and years to actually get all of those tokens out of the vesting pool. The public, pre-public, seed and private rounds are almost gone. So public has already been fully unlocked last year in September, and private investors are going to be fully unlocked in, I would say, it's going to be September 2023, which is what, 4 or 5 months left until we get everyone unlocked in the full, and then we'll not have any selling pressure from anyone. I want to pay attention to the vesting. We actually have a linear vesting unlock. What does that mean to you guys is that those people who have invested in SIDUS initially, they're getting their tokens every single block that is going to be mined on the Ethereum network. It basically means they can claim their tokens almost every minute. Instead of getting it within 1 month in one whole bunch of like drops, they're getting it little by little every single day. So imagine if you get 5% in 1 month, they get this 5% divided by 30 days, divided by 24 hours, divided by 60 minutes. That's how it works. So it doesn't create a huge selling pressure in one go. It creates a smooth experience, basically. And the token is not getting dumped drastically. So once they're all gone, we expect some big things happening because of the demand for this token and because of the number of players we expect from even just a single game mode like Zenna. Next month, we're getting massively into the Indian market. Indian market has 37% of players around the world who love strategies. And this is the biggest gaming strategies market in the world. And they love battle royale strategies and strategy games overall, like StarCraft and some other games as well. So we're perfect fit for this sort of gaming experience. I think we'll rock it in the next few months. At least I cannot promise anything or so, but we're expecting a huge flow of players into the Zenna, hundreds and thousands of players downloading the application. And then once we do that, then we'll get listed on the App Store and Google Play. And because of the large number of API connections and matchmaking connections, we do believe that Apple Store has a good potential of placing us in the top charts of the strategy field. And if we get there, it's around 500,000 people organically within the month of being at the top of this chart as well. So this is a big call, but we're pushing it heavily. And then we are releasing Shooter, and then we're releasing a new version of our Butler, which is getting completely redesigned now. Because last year we had a lot of feedback from people. People didn't like it, and we want to make it as cool as possible. So it's getting fully redesigned now. And in about a few months, you will get a completely new version of a Butler, which will be fun. We've tested it already. It's just so much different.
Fantastic. Yeah, I'm super stoked for everything you guys are building behind the scenes and it's coming out and the sneak peeks at the developments. I think it's all super exciting. Where can people find more about SIDUS and where can they, maybe get involved, hop into the Zenna app, etc.?
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, all of the details you can find on the website. Once you go into the main page of SIDUS Heroes, all you need to do is just to press play now, and it will take you to the screen where you can actually already test and play the games that are available on the website. Very simple. If you sorry, the internet is a little bit taking too much time, but if I'll take you to the loading screen. Yeah. Takes a little bit of a time, sorry. So when you're on the home page, all you need to do is just to press play now, and it will take you to the next page where you can choose the game you want to play. And then once you choose that game, all you need to do is just to press download or play now, and it will take you either to the browser game experience, where you can start playing the actual browser game, or you can download the application. For example, Zenna is the mobile application. So when you press on it, it gives you the download function that you can press. And oops, sorry, what's going on with the internet today? And you press download, and it just takes you to the download screen. Or if you go to Needham Station, you press play now, and it takes you to the lobby where the browser lobby is. Very simple, very simple. And in the lobby, all you need to do is just to choose the characters you want to play for, choose the battle mode right now, and just press play, and simple. And you just got to search for another player who is available right now on the other part of the world. And once someone is available, you're going to meet someone to fight the battle in the PvP, which is very fun. Even the current Butler, it's not super exciting, but it's fun. People love it. We have a couple of thousands of players right now playing this game and earning some valuable assets that they can already start selling. And I mean, it's there we go. We just found another player. It will take us to the loading screen in a second, and we're just going to start the battle. So it's very seamless. So you just go to the website, and the whole magic happens. Simple as that. Hello?
Yeah, I think I lost you there for a second. Are you there?
Yeah, I'm right here. Yeah. What I was saying is
okay, cool.
I was just demonstrating how you can get into the game very simply by using the browser. Just press play now, and you get into it.
Perfect. Yeah, no, I've hopped into some of the different experiences and had a fantastic time. And I think everyone in the chat box, the link's down below in the description. You can check it out. everything regarding the SIDUS Heroes ecosystem down below. Like the video, guys. If you enjoyed the show, if you're bullish on SIDUS Heroes, if you're bullish on the future of Web3 gaming, show some support, like the video, and subscribe down below to the channel for more content here. And Dan, thank you so much for joining me. I know,
thank you so much.
Time's always
really
time is always valuable in this space. I know you're very busy building out everything that y'all have in the ecosystem. So thank you for joining, guys. Like the video, subscribe, and Dan, we'll definitely talk again whenever, as the ecosystem develops. Time. Play well, my friends.